for some of us, we might have certain repetitive thoughts that are actually kind of counterproductive, right? So if you make a mistake, maybe you have a tendency to beat yourself up and say, oh, I'm such an idiot. How could I have done that? So foolish, what an idiot, to the point where it's actually counterproductive. And this is, as an example, as you can see, this would be exhausting and burnout to have this kind of thing going on all the time. So what we want to do is we want to come up with better thoughts to override those. The only kind of actual silver lining of having particular negative thoughts that you always say to yourself is that they are at least predictable, so we can solve for them in advance. So if you know that whenever you make a mistake, you say to yourself, I'm such an idiot, you can deliberately learn to override that with something like, mistakes are part of a learning curve and I'm doing everything I can to maximize my learning, something like that. So you see the picture that I show here to suggest a good thought replacement. This person here, he's communicating in what I view from his expression is a direct, truthful, honest way, but also a compassionate way, right? He's not yelling at somebody, but he's also being very clear and specific. So thought replacements are not fantasies, right? So it's not like you make a mistake and you just say, I'm perfect and I never make mistakes, because that's not really productive. Thought replacements have to be accurate and true, but they're different from the negative thoughts because they're not beating yourself up, right? So a good rule of thumb when you're thinking about good thought replacements would be, is it something that you could say to a good friend who can handle real talk, who's not looking for you to just, fluff them up, but where you would still actually be considerate and respectful and kind to your friend. Now, some people also say, well, I try that, just telling myself like, oh, I'm learning from my mistakes, but it doesn't feel natural. I want you to know that's totally fine. In fact, you're doing it right, because if it was your natural habit to talk to yourself this way, you wouldn't need to be doing thought replacements. I compare it to, for example, if you slouched for 20 years, then the first time you put your shoulders back and sat up straight, it wouldn't feel natural, but it would still be the best way for you to do it. And it would be a good new habit for you to work on building. So again, we want to get away from self-talk that feels over the top and belittling and get more into self-talk that's going to feel productive. Now, if you find yourself sometimes, backsliding and you're like in that super negative self-talk and you catch yourself doing it, here's what I want you to do. This might sound surprising, but I want you to congratulate yourself on your awareness, because some people who have a lot of negative self-talk, when they catch themselves doing it, they'll be negative self-talking themselves about their negative self-talk. They'll be like, oh, I'm so stupid for that mistake. Oh no, I'm so stupid. I'm doing that stupid self-talk. And it's like they're in a spiral. So instead of that, congratulate yourself for realizing that you've noticed that you're slipping into that old pattern, because that's the first step to that awareness of then being able to use your new thought replacement, whether it feels natural or not, just like you pull those shoulders back and stand up straight and start working on developing, your new normal.